They say when the drumbeat changes, the dancer must also change steps. But what happens when your legs cannot even move to the drum at all? That was my life, a life chained by beauty and betrayed by weakness. The day I was born, people praised my face before they even noticed my legs. My skin was smooth as ripe pawpaw, my eyes wide like the morning dew, my lips curved into a smile that melted hearts. A child of the sun, one old woman called me. This one will bring honor to her mother. But soon the whispers began. My legs were bent inward, my steps weak and unsure. I could walk, but not gracefully. My body carried beauty, but my legs carried shame. Before we continue this story, I want to welcome you to Fruition Wonders, where African folktales come alive with lessons and heart. If you enjoy stories like this, please subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. Your support keeps these voices alive. As a little girl, I did not understand. I thought people stared at me because of my face. When the children ran around the compound, playing tonten and chasing one another, I joined, dragging my legs behind. But soon, their laughter turned sharp. "Why do you walk like a goat with tied legs?" one boy shouted. The others laughed. I felt heat on my face, but I forced a smile. Inside, my heart trembled like a leaf in Harmattan wind. At night, I would lie awake listening to the crickets and whisper to myself, "The chick that scratches the ground alone will not find as much food as those who move in groups." I was always the one scratching alone. My mother tried to comfort me. She would hold my hand gently and say, "My child, a goat that bleats is still part of the herd. Do not let their laughter bury you alive." Her words wrapped me like a wrapper in cold weather. But outside, when the other girls ran freely, her comfort seemed too small. As I grew, my beauty ripened, but so did my shame. During village gatherings, people praised me. "Ah, her face is bright like the full moon," but their eyes always betrayed them. After looking at my face, they looked down at my legs. Then came the pity, or worse, the quiet laughter. One day, under the udala tree, I overheard two boys whispering. The first said, "Her eyes shine like river water." The second replied, laughing, "Yes, but the river cannot carry you if your canoe is broken." I knew they were talking about me. I ran home, locked myself inside, and cried until my chest ached. From that day, I began to withdraw. When the moonlight games filled the evenings, I stayed indoors. When the festival dances lit up the compound, I made excuses. I told myself, a cracked pot should not compete with new ones in the market. Slowly, I became like a shadow in my own life. My beauty, instead of being my pride, became my chain. It drew attention that only deepened my shame. But the heaviest burden was yet to come, the time when marriage talk began to rise in the compound. That was when my worthlessness began to eat me alive. They say, the tree that looks strong outside may be hollow inside. That was me, admired from afar, but hollowed by shame. And when men began to look for wives, I discovered how heavy that hollowness could become. By the time I reached womanhood, my beauty had ripened like palm fruit in the sun. My face turned heads, my smile caught hearts, and my presence drew whispers wherever I passed. But my legs, oh, my legs, remained my betrayers. In our community, beauty was not just for admiration. It was a bride price. a measure of worth. Families spoke proudly of daughters who would soon bring wealth and alliances through marriage. Mothers compared their girls like market women displaying yams. "This one is tall," they'd say. "That one is strong." But when it came to me, they would lower their voices, and the words that followed cut like a machete. "Ah, but her legs are..." I felt like a chicken with golden feathers but broken wings, admired, yet never chosen. When suitors began to circle, my mother hoped one would see beyond my walk. The first came, and when he saw me seated, he smiled brightly. But when I stood to greet him, his smile faltered like a candle in the wind. He left without returning. Another came and stayed longer, but later told his friends, "Her beauty is like ripe maize, but how do you harvest when the stalk is bent?" Those words spread quickly. Soon, I was no longer just the beautiful girl. I was the beautiful cripple. Shame became my shadow. I avoided the market, avoided the streams where girls gathered to fetch water. Each time I passed, I heard giggles and muttered proverbs. "A pot with a crack does not hold water. What use is a flute if it has no sound?" At night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, feeling my worth dissolve. My thoughts turned bitter. I asked myself, why give me beauty only to cage it in weakness? I began to hate my reflection. The mirror mocked me. I withdrew from friends. I stopped laughing loudly. I buried my voice. Even at home I spoke less, afraid that my words would betray the emptiness inside. My turning point of despair came one evening during a wrestling festival. All the young women gathered, adorned in wrappers, their faces painted, their hair shining with palm oil. The drummers beat hard, and the men showed their strength in the arena. The women cheered, but I sat under the tree, silent, pretending to enjoy. A young man I once admired walked past me with another girl. I overheard him say, "Even if you dress a lame goat in beads, it will not lead the herd." Those words pierced deeper than any spear. That night I wept until my chest ached. I decided then that my life was worthless, that my beauty was a curse tied to my legs, that no one would ever see me as whole. But as the elders say, when the night is darkest, the cock prepares to crow. I did not know it yet, but my story was about to change. It was an elder woman, Mama Anita, who first noticed the storm inside me. She was known in the village for her wisdom and her skill in handcrafts. One morning, she called me as I tried to sneak past her compound. "Child," she said firmly, "why do you walk as though the ground is ashamed of carrying you?" I tried to smile, to brush it off, but she did not let me escape. She pulled me into her courtyard, where women were weaving mats from palm fronds. Some of them were not whole. One had lost an arm. Another was blind in one eye. Another limped worse than me. Yet they laughed, teased each other, and worked with joy. I sat quietly, watching. For the first time I saw people like me, broken in body but unbroken in spirit. Mama Anita placed palm fronds in my hand. "Even a bent stick can point the way," she said. "Your hands are strong, even if your legs are weak. Use them." At first I fumbled. The fronds slipped, my mats were crooked, my fingers ached. I almost gave up. But Mama Anita reminded me, a child who falls learns how to rise. Each day I returned, and slowly my fingers grew confident. My mats began to take shape, and the laughter of the women began to heal me. For the first time, I was not the beautiful cripple. I was the mat weaver. My name spread, not for my beauty, not for my disability, but for my skill. Even those who once mocked me began to greet me with respect. Some said, "The snail may crawl slowly, but its trail still shines." I will not lie, I still feel pain sometimes. When I see young lovers walking hand in hand, when I hear laughter about beauty wasted, my heart aches. But I no longer live in that pit. I tell myself, the sun does not beg the sky to shine. It shines because it was made to. I shine now, not with perfect legs, but with a spirit that refuses to bow. To anyone carrying a burden like mine, hear this. A river does not stop flowing because it meets stones. Your worth is not tied to what people see or say. Your worth is in the work of your hands, the kindness of your heart, and the courage of your spirit. I was once consumed by worthlessness, but today I am consumed by purpose. Beauty without confidence is like a flower in the dark, unseen. Disability does not erase future. The tongue of others can wound, but only you can bury yourself. They say, even the longest night must give way to dawn. I never believed those words until love itself came searching for me. By then, I had accepted my life. I no longer waited for admirers, no longer measured my worth by the eyes of men. My days were full, weaving mats, teaching younger girls the craft, and sitting with Mama Anita in the evenings, listening to her stories. My heart was calm, like a river after flood. One day, as I sat at the market selling my mats, a young man approached. His name was Ben, a farmer from the neighboring village. He was not the type that people whispered about. He was not the richest, nor the most handsome, but his eyes carried a quiet strength. He picked up one of my mats, examined the weaving carefully, and asked, "Who made this?" "I did," I replied, expecting the usual flicker of pity when his eyes dropped to my legs. But he didn't look down. He looked straight into my face and smiled. "It is straw work," he said. "A mat like this will not tear under the weight of a man's sleep." His words surprised me. People often spoke of my beauty or my weakness, but never my work. That day, he bought 2 mats and promised to return. I thought nothing of it, but he returned again and again. Each time, he spoke less about my looks and more about my craft, my thoughts, my laughter. Slowly, my heart, which I had locked away, began to stir. One evening, he walked me halfway home. I stopped him, ashamed. "Why waste your steps on me?" I asked. "The world says a lame goat does not lead the herd." He looked at me firmly and replied, "But the herd still follows the goat with wisdom, lame or not. Do not let people's tongues bury you alive." Those words watered something inside me that had long been dry. Our friendship grew. He saw my weakness but did not make it my name. He saw my beauty but did not make it my cage. He saw me, wholly, painfully, beautifully me. When he finally asked for my hand in marriage, I laughed bitterly. "Do you not fear the whispers?" I asked. "Do you not fear waking each day beside a woman whose legs betray her?" He answered with a proverb I will never forget. "The hoe that tills the soil is not judged by its handle, but by the harvest it brings." Tears filled my eyes. For the first time, love had knocked at my bent door, not out of pity, not out of curiosity, but out of true sight. We married quietly, Some mocked him, some mocked me. But as the elders say, the frog does not run in daylight for nothing. He knew his reasons, and I knew mine. Our home was not built on whispers, but on understanding. In time, our love began to change others too. The women who once laughed at me started bringing their daughters to learn weaving from me. Young girls with bent arms, scarred faces, or crooked backs found courage in my story. Men who once mocked now used my name as a proverb. Do not despise the crooked stick, it may be the one that stirs your soup. I became more than Mirabelle, the mat weaver. I became Mirabelle, the woman who showed that worth is not tied to legs, or to beauty, or to whispers. My story spread like fire through dry grass, lighting hope in others who carried hidden pains. Looking back now, I realize, if I had given up, my hands would never have woven my destiny. If I had allowed shame to kill me, love would never have found me. If I had let proverbs of mockery define me, I would never have become a proverb of hope. Today, when I sit with my children and tell them my story, I remind them, a tree with bent branches can still give shade. And to anyone listening, especially those carrying their own thorns, I say, do not let your scars silence your song. The world remembers not the limp of the dancer, but the joy of the dance. My legs are still bent, my steps are still slow, but my life walks tall. True love sees beyond the surface and respects the soul. Mockery can kill, but encouragement can resurrect. One person's courage can become many people's proverb. Disability does not cancel future, it can sharpen it. They also say, a single flame can light 1,000 others. If this story lit something in you, let it light another by subscribing, liking, sharing, and commenting on Fruition Wonders.